Okay, so here are some of the words that I commonly hear as alternatives to public engagement besides education and communication. Informal science education or informal science learning. Non-formal education. This is one that's especially used within the context of extension and the land-grant university in the United States. Public understanding of science. There's actually even a well-known high impact factor journal that is called Public Understanding of Science. Science outreach. You might hear about that as a way to describe activities of a lab or things that are with a particular scientist that are going out and doing activities. Any effort towards science literacy and having people reach some state of literacy. Anything else you might have thought about? These are not certainly a comprehensive list. So, next step, we've identified problems with pretty much all of these in some way or another. So let's turn to this one that might be the most popular these days, informal science education or science outreach or science learning. When we talk about that, what do we mean when we say informal? Why might that be a problematic description? Again, I want you to take a few moments to think for yourselves, think what you think informal means, and then post your thoughts to the discussion board or share with colleagues. Take a moment, stop the video, resume, and we'll come back to this discussion. Okay, most of these phrases that we identified, either through the list I provided or things that you came up with, fall under the domain of something that we call a deficit model. A deficit model basically assumes that there is an all-knowing expert and a different population that either knows less or nothing at all, has a deficit generally in information or knowledge, and that it can be overcome then by simply sharing knowledge, and that population will rise to a new level of understanding, and it's assumed that then they will go on and make changes and act in a different way. This expert is a single person generally with all the knowledge in blue. They share with these empty vessels of white, and when we end up, you have many experts, right, that each have that same common blue understanding. This is a very one-way delivery method of simply delivering information again. So not even considering things like knowledge, things like attitude and interest, and certainly not considering behavior. Instead, public engagement with science operates on a more equal model where multiple people have different expertise. So each of these people has a different color representing a different sort of thing that they might know, but they're also equal in size and stature. Instead of a one-way exchange, these people are participating in multi-way learning. They're equal partners and they're all going to learn from each other so that we end up with a little bit of kind of understanding of each topic, certainly distributed amongst the group. We have more sharing of information. So all the orange isn't in one place and all the green isn't in one place. But the orange hasn't simply remained orange. They've picked up some of the green as well. So why am I harping on this? Why is it really important to use these words? Our language affects our thinking, as well as the thinking of those with whom we want to share our science. So if we are saying, hey, I'm going to communicate with you, I'm going to give you this information, then your audience might also be like, oh, great, I'm going to get this information and I'll magically be changed and that's all I need to do, right? They may not understand the subtleties of actually turning that into more like things that they can actually use. Also, if we think of the public as needing outreach or needing education, as having a deficit in some way, we forget to capitalize on the assets they already have as we try to reach mutual understanding. We forget then that some people have expertise, let's say, in another area that could be really relevant and actually could shape our own research and practice. Finally, Characterizing, again, our work as one way means we miss an opportunity to learn for ourselves what our communities that we want to serve, what they find important and valuable. Back to this idea of, what is it about our research that they really want to know and can use? Or are we doing something that's really not relevant to the people we're trying to talk to or talk with? And should we be either changing our research focus or changing the audience with whom we want to discuss these things and share our work?